Hello, everyone, and welcome to Why You Should Warm Up, a Fit Gamer Masterclass. Let's get right into it. Warming up. Warming up in Rocket League is one of the most underrated ways to improve at a faster pace. When you warm up, you create a consistent environment before you play where you accomplish two things. First off, you get comfortable for your games, and then second off, you train things that you might not have in game while you're doing it. So we have three sections we're going to be going over today. First off is why warm up. This section is not as important, so if you'd like, you can just skip through this to the second part. But if you're interested in the actual mechanics of warming up as a person, you can watch that. We have the warm up template. I just have some things that I think you guys should be doing for a warm up, and then a example template of what I recommend people do. And then I talk about a little bit about what pros do. So going to the highest level, what they do to warm up. So let's hop into it. Why warm up? Well, warming up allows you to mentally and physically prepare for the games you're going to be playing. Warming up is not just for tournaments. You should be doing it every time you play. This point, I want to get across. Yes, even your rank games are as tough without a warm up. This warm up should happen every time you play. And I really believe that if you just do a 15 to 30-minute warm up every day before you play or every time you play, it will increase A, your rank, but B, just how you feel about the game in general. So, when you warm up, you allow your muscles to do a few things. Uh, at the very basic part of it, you play Rocket League by moving your fingers in a way to manipulate a controller or a keyboard. So, when we think about how we're doing these things, it all starts with our muscles and our hands. When you in joints, I'm not a big scientist, so don't quote me on all this, but I did a lot of research in terms of how that actually works with our body. So these are things that I found. First off, is remembering muscle memory. We, in different spots, you're actually able to sort of have that muscle memory bank that you have. But when you warm up, it allows you to sort of pull into that bank, and there is a connection that is made where you are doing the things that you have muscle memory of. So one, it reinforces that muscle memory, but you're also helping your brain connect your muscle memory to what you're trying to do. Second up, loosen the muscles so they aren't as stiff. Normally, when you play Rocket League, you just feel stiff when you first start playing. For me, I definitely feel that my first game compared to my 10th game, I feel a lot more loose in terms of how I'm playing. But there are genuine benefits to you warming up so that you loosen the stiffness in your muscles and your joints so that you are able to do things at a faster pace. And then finally, you literally warm your hands up. I live in the Midwest, and those cold days, my hands are freezing. Part of your warm up can literally be just turning hot water on and running your hands under hot water. That will help. If your hands are cold, you, by moving your hands during your warm up, like if you're in free play, you're moving your hands, and it's just thermodynamics. Your hands will warm up the more you move them. And as I said, playing Rocket League requires muscular effort, so you want to give yourself the best opportunity to win and improve. Yes, even Zen warms up, if that's what you were wondering. All right, mental effects of a warm up. It's this kind of gets back into the muscle memory, but mentally, a warm up is important because it gives you a baseline to go off of. When you hit your shots in a warm up, you're going to feel better when you're in game. Going into a game cold will hurt your gameplay, and you will feel worse off without it. I watched a or not a, not I watched. I read a neuroscientist kind of piece on why warming up in video games matters, and it's because once you have these situations happening, when you first just do it, it's a lot different than if you've done it 15 times in the session that you've played. So, having that baseline while you're warming up allows your games to feel a lot easier. Okay, any questions so far in terms of the mechanics of warming up? Okay, let's keep going. If you get one thing from this class, I really hope you enjoy this slide. Warm up so you don't feel terrible in game and then lose a lot. That is the point of this class. Just wanted to really spell it out because it genuinely is so important for you guys to be warming up. It matters a lot. Okay. So now let's talk about what an actual warm-up template is. So we have 3 things. I kind of made a checklist of stuff that we want to be doing. First off, number 1, you want to feel good about your mechanics. Not just meh, not bad, but good about your mechanics. These are a few examples, but the 3 big categories that I like to think about are your movement, your shooting, and then your aerial mechanics. Those 3 things really matter when it comes to figuring out what you're trying to accomplish with your warm-ups. Number 2, practice situations you will see in game. Practicing maybe a specific shot. Maybe you want to practice air dribbling. Maybe you want to practice making a save. Doing all of these things creates that baseline that we talked about to allow yourself to feel better when you're playing in these games. And then finally, I think this is very important to think about. You want to go into your games confident. In my mentality masterclass I did a while ago, if you're confident, you will play better. That's just how it feels and how it works. So you want to be able to accomplish all 3 of these things when we talk about warming up and actually doing something with that warm up. Okay, so how do we accomplish these things? So when we want to feel better about mechanics, we want to quote unquote stretch them. This is my kind of personal theory on how I believe mechanics should be learned and done. And I consider it a mechanic like a string. When you stretch that string, that's when you are doing things that are as tough as possible so that the easier situations are the ones we will see in game. When you stretch that string, it becomes really tense. But when that string goes back to the normal length, that's when things are loose and easier. So on the right side, as you can see, I have an example of something that you can be doing as part of your warm-up, and that is rings map. Now, in a game of Rocket League, I don't think you will be required to be going through rings while you're on the field. That's just not how it works. But what I'm doing with these rings maps is I am creating an aerial situation where it becomes tougher and tougher to get around so that when I get in game, things are a lot easier. If I'm just jumping up for a ball, it's a lot easier than having to go through 20 rings. And you can do things with all of your mechanics. This is just a pure example. I have a few classes like the shooting class and the mechanic class on other examples of quote unquote stretching your mechanics. But when you stretch your mechanic, it just becomes easier when you're doing it in game. So I have a few examples. Again, as I talked about, you have your aerial and your ground movement, and then you have your touches on the ball. That could be shooting, that could be flip resets, that could be double taps, it could be so many more things. But we want to practice as many situations as possible in our warm-ups so that we feel better when we get in game. Okay, so the second tip we want to use to really figure out how to stretch our mechanics is free play. The Rocket League Pro Com from OG Esports or version 1 back in the day said that if he was going to start over and he had 0 skill in Rocket League, his split would be 80% free play and 20% ranked. Now, when you think about how you play normally, that split is not that much. I would say, even for me, the most I would do is about 50-50. So, free play is really important, and pros understand that. It's the best tool to get better, and it's a great tool to use to warm up. It's a sandbox, so you can do literally whatever you want. If that's stretching a mechanic, the thing that I have in this video to the left is the boost circle drill. It is where you drive around the small pads in the middle and you just try to stay as fast as possible. I add a few speed flips in at the end to also practice my other movements, but this is a way to create muscle memory. And when you're zooming around the field, you just feel fast and feel confident. So that's why I love doing this in my warm up. Another thing you can do in free play is touching the ball. You don't have to just drive around the field. You can do a lot of different things that allows you to stretch, quote unquote, the speed of your touches and allow situations in game to be easier. Another thing you can do, create situations you might have in game. Practice air dribbles from different angles. Maybe you want to figure out how to air dribble from your back wall. Maybe you want to figure out how to air dribble from your side wall. You can create these different situations in free play. Do free play every day you play for at least 10 minutes. If you're going to take anything away from this class, it is to free play more. We're going to go a little bit more in depth later on how pros use free play, so make sure you stick around till the end for that. But the important note, this is very important. I want to star this. If you are below the rank of SSL, turn your unlimited boost off, because you need to learn how to play on 100 boost, not 1000 boost. So make sure when you are free playing, it's in your gameplay settings. When you hit the settings menu, turn your boost from unlimited to standard. Okay, any questions on free play before I keep going?
Does training packs and custom maps count as free play?
No, free play is its own specific thing. That's why I created its own slide. We're going to get into that though, so it's a great
Okay.
segue. Because now we're going to talk about custom training packs. Custom training packs are amazing for practicing the same situation over and over again. As you can see, this is me missing a lot of double taps in a training pack. Custom training allows you to train for the same situation over and over and over again. Doing these situations over and over will get your reps in, and it will allow you to, one, warm up your hands just because you're moving them, but you will get that muscle memory and you will reinforce that muscle memory by going for the same thing over and over again. The thing I always like to say is when you're in a custom training pack, don't move on from the same shot until you get it 3 times in a row. Custom training is not just a one and done kind of thing. It is something you want to be using over and over and over again. So make sure when we use custom training as a tool, again, double taps is just an example, but you're able to use so much more when it comes to looking at custom training packs. Okay, and you might be asking yourself, how do I find these packs? Well, I'm so old that it used to be a spreadsheet, but prejump.com, if you type that in, you will find the #1 resource for how to find a training pack. Go to that website, search up whatever mechanic you want to learn, and it will give you the code and sometimes a video on how to actually do the training pack. So that is the #1 resource when it comes to custom training. So when you're using custom training, just think about what mechanics you want to work on, pick 1 or 2, and then do those training packs for 10 minutes at a time as part of your warm up. And that'll help you a lot. All right, any questions on this? All right, we're going to keep it going. All right, this is an example warm up that I would recommend for you guys to do every single day. Every single day. All right, first off, 10 minutes of free play, 2 minutes of the boost circle drill, and then I want you to do 2 minutes of the wave dashing or flipping around the field. Don't even touch the ball for the first 4 minutes. Don't touch the ball. Just circle the boost and then start wave dashing and flipping around the field just to feel yourself fast. And then move into 6 minutes of hitting the ball around. Again, we'll get into how pros are actually doing that, so stick around. But the next 6 minutes, I want you to just focus on hitting the ball around the field as fast as you can. Next up is workshop maps. These are for my PC people. If you are not on PC, you can just choose a custom training pack to do. But if you have 10 minutes, there are 3 maps specifically that I want you to think about: the rings map, the dribble map, or the aim training map. One of these 3. Do that for 10 minutes. You can switch it It doesn't matter. It's just what you're feeling. Get those 10 minutes in an environment where you're stretching your mechanics. And then finally, custom training. If you're on console, obviously you will just be doing 2 custom training packs. But if you're on PC, pick a mechanic you want to work on and find a pack to work on. If you don't know what pack you want to do, just choose shooting. I think shooting is the thing that will always raise your floor. So if you don't know what to do, just look for a shooting pack. And you can watch my shooting masterclass as well if you'd like. Great plug. All of this warm up is only 30 minutes. And if you don't have 30 minutes, let's say you only have 15 minutes, well, then just half everything I've said here. Do 1 minute of boost circling, 1 minute of wave dashing, 3 minutes of hitting the ball around. Just doing this thing over and over and over again reinforces your muscle memory and will also warm your hands up for when you are trying to get into your ranked games. Any questions on this example warm up or having a warm up in general? Okay, cool. Let's keep it going. Okay, let's talk about how pros warm up. So, in this video to the right, I want you to watch apparently Jack do free play from his most, this is literally his stream today. I just pulled a clip of him doing free play from his most recent stream. Look what he's doing. He is just hitting the ball as fast as he can, and then he is going around the field and following his touches up as much as possible. When you see the ball just levitate back onto his car, that's just a mod that is in Rocket League that you can install called Bacchus mod that brings the ball to the top of your car. But it's also a D-pad option in the game, I'm pretty sure. So you're able to do this even if you don't have Bacchus mod. Obviously, I'm not expecting everyone here to be doing double flip resets and breezies and musties and wall dashes. If that's not your level, then I understand. But think about what he's doing. He's just hitting the ball as fast as he can, and then he's following the ball with all of his touches. That's all you do in free play if you would like to get better. Hit the ball as fast as you can at the wall. Here, I'll replay it just so we have something rolling. Hit the ball as fast as you can at the wall, and then follow it. And then do it again. And then do it again. All this is doing is it is stretching your speed, and it allows you to, when you're in ranked, slow it down a lot, and the touches will just feel a lot easier. A few pro comments on free play, as well as Com saying he'd do 80%, is Dries said that free play is the most important part of his warm-up. He really believes in warming up with free play, and in an article said that that was the most important thing. We have Joyo, who in an interview said that he would free play for multiple hours in a day before games. I don't recommend you doing this because that's just a lot, but if you have the time, doing an hour of free play and throwing a YouTube video or music or a podcast on in the background will improve your game. And then finally, talking about another thing that you can use that pros like to do for a warm-up. Squishy Muffins has a very valuable video talking about his warm-up. It is called A Little Bit of Everything. Look up Squishy Muffins. Squishy Muffins, A Little Bit of Everything. Sorry, that is a typo. I apologize. Any questions on how pros use free play or anything regarding warm-ups? All right, then. Well, thank you everyone for stopping by. I appreciate it. Any questions before we head out here? All right, awesome guys. I'll catch y'all.